Phaidra is an AI automation company. We use a type of AI known as reinforcement learning to directly control and optimize data center infrastructure in real time. Now, the benefit of doing so is that the AI is constantly learning from its own actions and getting better over time, which means that our customers' PUE and their corresponding energy savings and CO2 emissions are constantly improving as the AI learns from its own experience. Infrastructure today relies upon hard-coded controls logic. So I'm talking about explicitly programmed systems that causes physical infrastructure to operate the same way forever, regardless of how the environmental conditions change.
The AI is different in that it has massive compute power. It can read thousands of sensors and evaluate at any given point in time what are the best set points that facility should use to optimize and reduce excursions.
We want to help industries do more with what they have. The first thing that a lot of these antiquated industries are doing is they're immediately saying, hey, what's the minimum that we can do to be able to slap a label onto our control system and say that it leverages some of this technology? None of these technologies actually get implemented in a way that actually has impact. We think that that has to change.
The genesis of Phaidra started in 2010 when I was a data center engineer at Google. As one of Google's first mechanical engineers, my responsibility was to help Google design and operate its very large data centers, which consume massive amounts of energy. In 2016, I met my co-founder Phaidra as he was coming off of a project called AlphaGo, which is the first time that a computer beat the world champion at Go. And I thought to myself that if these AI systems can beat the best players in the world at complex games like Go, then surely we could also use them to optimize very complex systems like mission-critical data centers. We actually tried it. We applied AlphaGo to directly control and optimize a Google data center. What we discovered was truly surprising. The AI started off with 12% energy savings, and over the course of 1 year of continuous operation, it taught itself to go from 12% energy savings to 30% energy savings. And it was really that self-learning behavior that made my co-founders and I realize that this is the future of industrial automation.
What are you going to need in terms of a future-looking control system is one that learns from its own experience and it recognizes the changing conditions and it has to be adaptable to that. And two, it has to be holistic. It cannot just look at disparate systems. It has to be like integrating across the cooling, power, and look at the grid and also the weather, of course, and make this complex, optimal control strategies.
One of the core hypotheses that we had when we were starting the company was the importance of making sure that we had talent in three main areas. Obviously, in AI and machine learning, while talent is growing, we work in a very specific domain focused on applying it in the industrial space. The next big area is making sure that we have the best software talent that can build enterprise architecture that's serving mission critical environments. And then the third and equally important area is the domain expertise. Folks who deeply understand the data center space, who deeply understand industrial controls. I'm boots on the ground, so I come from the industrial space, and my background is in optimization of really large chiller plants and designing control systems. There's a reason why there's not a lot of people that are doing what we're doing. For us, what massive impact looks like is our ability to take this technology, apply it to real use cases, and have immediate impact.
We're also very sensitive to people today worried about AI taking their job. That's a reasonable thing for people to talk about. We've heard more than once that it is getting harder and harder to find people to do the job of the facility management staff as it is defined today. We had an education system and a training mechanism that was used to the normal level of growth of that job category. And the data center market in the last 15 years has simply exploded. And so it's stripped away the ability for the existing systems to continue feeding people in. And it's going to take a while for that to get caught up. In the meantime, the opportunity then is to take the talent that's out there today and make them more effective. That's part of our mission, right? Is to recognize that we need to be working in partnership with the existing facility management team. The tool that we're building is intended to make people more effective. It doesn't diminish the fact that your facility management team must really know their jobs and they must be capable of doing the work. We recognize that down the road we want to remove cognitive burden so that people can be freed to work on the things that truly the human mind is best at, strategy and planning, business objectives. These are things that the human staff is still in the best position to do. And what we want to do is take the repetitive tasks or the tasks that must be done with a high degree of precision and continuously move that to the role of the machine.
These systems can actually work at a superhuman level. You have operators that have been in this field for like 30, 40 years, done this all through their life. But these systems can start working at a level that actually surprises them, doing something that they didn't see that could be optimal and safe and stable. You would expect, like, chillers are the biggest energy consumers. It did weird things like saying that, okay, hey, I actually want to like run 2 chillers at this point, unloading the cooling towers as well. So it did this weird trade-off a couple of times, and it turned out to be optimal.
Resources are finite. They are not infinite unless we start looking outside of our own planet, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. So radical resource efficiency is absolutely our Polaris. It's what we're focused on. We really do think that what we're building and what we're doing here at Phaidra is going to have a massive impact, and it's something that can be done today. It's something that can be done right now, and we're really excited about what the next few years are going to look like.